It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for my gamers. Would you be one? Could you be one? Shout about thunder, but don't despair. This colony's breeding great robbers. Would you be one? Could you be one? If an 80% mortality rate works for you, for a few bucks a month you can sign up and have the hogs kill you. So let's make the most of another Sunday. Brew up some coffee and play it my way. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my gamers? Won't you please, please won't you be my gamers?
All right, thank you, TJ Drennan, for that awesome introductory music. Everybody, welcome to the Gamerhood. I am Jason Hobbs, and today I'm going to be game mastering possibly a game named Tales of Argosa. It is the second edition of this low fantasy gaming. Is this camera backwards, Stu?
Yep.
Son of a biscuit. Everyone watch this portion of the show with a mirror. All right. Anyway, Pickpocket Press's Low Fantasy Gaming, second edition. Tales of Argosa is a way better name, but we're doing the whole thing. We're going to talk about the new system, and we're going to make some characters, and hopefully, possibly, maybe if we're lucky, we'll also do some playing. I can't do all that by myself, so I have two fantastic people joining me. Let's move over to the table chat, and I'll introduce the other guys. Doesn't this look good, you guys? Yeah,
that's
pretty
pretty
good. Nice. So we'll start with Stu. Why don't you introduce yourself? Say a little bit about you or whatever you want to say.
Sure, yeah. I'm Stu. I've played, I don't know, a couple handfuls probably. Maybe even like 15 sessions or so of the original Low Fantasy Gaming. I've checked out an early version of the rules and kind of eager to dig into it here. So
Awesome. Thanks, Stu. And our other guy is none other than Robert.
Hey everybody, I'm Robert. I've been playing some LFG with Hobbs here and there. We did a short campaign like a year or so ago that was like 7 or so sessions.
Yeah.
And then I played in a number of your just 1 or 2 person sessions.
The Midland or Northgate Vignettes is what the name I finally settled on for that.
Right. Last one with Elliot.
Yeah. I would say all of those LFG games went pretty well, except for the last one that we played at North Texas. You knew we couldn't get it by without me complaining about that game, Stu.
And
Anyway.
what's the complaint about that one?
yeah, Hobbs. What was the complaint? Was
so-
it the players were having too much fun?
I think the players were having too much fun, and if it wasn't the players, it was the other people around that were just hanging out while we were trying to play the game. But it was fine. It was some other guys in the Gamerhood. You know, we're at a convention. People might get a little drinky or whatever sometimes, and it was a raucous, rowdy crowd for sure. It took us hours to get anywhere, and I was the only sober one. So let me tell you how.
And
that
you
feels.
were playing these rules, or no? You're still just playing...
No. It was before these rules. I had access to these rules.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Didn't you do an in-person game with these?
No, I didn't have them in time, so I
okay.
did that campaign that I started with the Green River Gamers Association. We just used the LFG. I would like to move it to this, but I have changed systems on those guys so many times. If I do that, I may somehow steal their character sheets and just make the adjustments without them knowing. And what are you making that face for, Stu? That's a bad thing to do.
I'd try it and find out. Then tell us about it.
All right, so I mentioned earlier that we're all wearing black T-shirts, so I think this is a good opportunity, for the people to get an idea of what kind of people we are. So I'll start. I don't know what black T-shirts you guys are wearing, but me, the oil boss, is wearing Inferno Road T-shirt. Little Doug Kovacs art from the Hobonomicon. What do you got, Robert?
I've got, let's see, Exalted Funeral.
Oh, nice.
It's kind of relevant. given what's going on today. And then my hat, if you probably can't read that because it's in the typical sort of metal script, but that's Conan.
Yeah, it says Conan. What's going on today at Exalted Funeral? Oh, Jesus. You're not going to try and get into that conversation, are you?
You're the one that brought it up.
I'm not on purpose, but I mean, why is that? Why is just mentioning Exalted Funeral refer to that? That seems crazy to me. Anyway.
Because he's the distributor, they're the distributor of Old School Essentials and Necrotic Gnome.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Stu, what do you got for us?
I mean, I wasn't planning on pimping anything, but I will now, I guess. I'm representing Mega Colossus, North Carolina's finest, you know, kind of nerdy power metal band. If you want some epic riffs and songs about, I don't know, Dune and Thundar the Barbarian, check them out.
All right, nice. I don't see anything wrong with three dudes talking a little bit about some stuff. Yes, people came here to see Tales of Argosa, but really what brings people back is the people involved in any project. So I really handpicked these guys, a special, top of the list. There's no way I could have picked any better guys that would be able to fit into this exact thing. So,
Why
are you trying to butter us up so much?
Yeah,
I'm
what I
not,
just heard,
I'm not.
the only ones that said yes is what I heard.
I'm not. So we're hoping to do this weekly. My idea was to do a short mini campaign of first level characters, and then maybe take the characters up a level or two to third level, and then do a short mini campaign with these characters for that, and it may be different characters. I don't really know, and then do another one after that, so we can get kind of a broad look at the system and play test a bunch of different things. So you guys have had the books for a little bit. I'm going to put you on the spot. Anything interesting, Robert, that you saw that you weren't aware of with low fantasy gaming that's in Tales of Argosa?
I think it's interesting that he's decided to stop level progression at level 9, right? Before he did like 12 or higher.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's one of the very main tenets of what he's doing is trying to make characters broader as opposed to more powerful in that situation, because I think he's trying to keep it grittier and make combat faster, and I think that helps with that. So well done. I made him go first, Stu, because I felt like maybe you knew more about it, so you would be able to dig a little, get a deeper cut. Go for it, brother.
All right, sure. Off the top of my head, I would say one change that I think is significant is the shift towards a little bit more prescriptive randomization around character generation rather than build optimization. What I mean by that is it's moved slightly in a direction where like skills are more randomized, and I think by default, you know, you're rolling 3d6 for attributes straight down the line. Whereas I feel like the original edition, it allowed for a little bit more flexibility. So I'm not intending to frame that as like a more positive thing, because I actually kind of like what I'm reading in the new one. But like it equipped a player to like think about a build rather than maybe end up rolling up a character and deciding like how best to play it. And I kind of like what I see with the classes and, you know, rolling for the skills as opposed to picking and choosing. And yeah, I don't know. I think that was the first thing that occurred to me from a player perspective that I thought was significant.
Cool. I think, yeah, it's definitely different, and I feel like maybe the statistics or the attributes aren't as good overall. Like there's no standard array. There's no. I mean, he's making it so you can make a decent character automatically, and to have a couple attributes that have modifiers, but it's not the same as it was before.
Yeah, I agree.
So one thing I wondered is he trying to move further away than the influence that 5e was sort of there before?
That would not surprise me at all, actually. But I don't think I've ever seen that written anywhere. And also I think people should know that Pickpocket Press also published a Shadowrun clone that's called Low Life 2099. And some of the things that you're finding in Tales of Argosa were shifts from Low Fantasy Gaming Deluxe to that game, which is the quicker death, like lowering the importance of dexterity and doing some things like that. That he had already done that in Low Life 2099. So I also want to let people know who are fans of the Gamerhood channel and have seen me run my Midlands setting before in all those campaigns that we mentioned, the Midlands, the Northgate vignettes, Chronicle of the Cursed Axe, and the Lost Lake. Is that what that was called, Robert, that you played in?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. We never found a Chronicle of a Cursed Axe in Chronicle of the Cursed Axe, and we never went to the Lost Lake in Lost Lake. So hopefully we actually go to Argosa in Tales of Argosa, but no promises, people. All right, so I think that's probably good for now, because I do want to do some time like after when we actually go through this process, or even during the process. We'll kind of talk about how we feel about what he's doing and how he's doing it. In order for people to see, I've basically just made some special stuff in Roll20. So now we can kind of check out what the guys are doing as they do it. Now their character sheets, I have to say, are not going to be perfect because the game isn't even out yet, so no one has really made a Roll20 character sheet. So if I show you the character sheet and it doesn't have what we need, or you guys, if there's something missing, we'll just use notes or put it on wherever we need to in order to keep this information moving forward.
Do you need to make a sheet for me?
Shouldn't. I probably just need to give you access to it.
Okay.
Do I have to show to players? Edit. Yep, I did not put it in your journal. I'm going to put it in all players' journals. I made it, I just didn't show it to you, buddy. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
I wondered what the blue dot was on Stu's. All right, so we got some character sheets. And then now I have like the process here. So what I actually did is, this game is not out, but Steve sent me the PDF, and this is the PDF that I sent to our players here. But I printed this off at FedEx office and 3-hole punched it. So if he changes any pages, I can easily just strip out that page and put in a new page. I'm not saying it was inexpensive necessarily, but I honestly plan to use this more than I've used other games that I've paid a lot for, like this Outcast Silver Raiders. I don't even know how much I paid for this box set, but I only opened it once when I got it, and I haven't messed with it since. So that tells you, which is probably what I would do with Dolman Wood. That's why I'm not on the Kickstarter, but I love Gavin Norman.
Wow.
I love Gavin Norman, though. And honestly, my idea is, so many people are buying that, it's going to be hard to find players for it. So I'm just not going to buy it, and then I'll be available to play in that in those games, because you guys all know how much I love whimsy. All right, Stu. Before we get started, do we have anybody showing up in the YouTubes?
Yeah, we had Aaron come by and say hi.
Coleman?
Clark.
Oh, Aaron Clark. Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. Good to see you, man. Everyone should go check out Holmes and Clark. There's another game that I bought, a hardcover book that I never did anything with other than a first quick perusal. That's it, Aaron. You're the only one. Good to see you, buddy. Either way. All right, so we have the character creation process, which is talking about the attributes. And it looks like it's largely randomized by default. And, the variant rules chapter has some suggestions if you want more control. But we're just going to do it straight up, even as much as I complain about people using rules as written. That's what we're going to try to do because it's a playtest. Stu is great on here because he always makes faces about the stuff I say that I know 10% or 5% of the people who listen or watch this stream are not going to have the slightest idea what I'm talking about. But he does, and so he always reacts, and that's great. All right. So it says we're going to roll 3d6 7 times. There's 7 attributes in Tales of Argosa, we have like a lot of the normal ones: strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, and charisma. But then we also have perception and willpower. And then another derived stat in this edition is going to be initiative and, of course, luck. So why don't you guys go ahead. I probably should have made things for you so it wouldn't have been so ugly, but I didn't do that. So why don't you guys go ahead and roll your 3d6. And we are going to allocate these results in order, guys.
Can you explain that concept a little bit more?
Allocating in order? Are you joking?
Of course I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, you're dead to me. All right, go for it.
All right, so we will track initiatives separately on this sheet.
Is there some way where can you do like 3d6 times 7? Or you just have to do it a bunch of times?
There is, but that was what I was talking about. I've made that roller before, but I did not do that because I'm always a little behind. So no, just roll 3d6 like Stu did. Stu, these are some awesome rolls, man. An 18 and a 4. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, let's see what we get here.
I forgot. I think I started to go into it, but that I didn't really say. People who have watched this channel in the past, I have a particular Midland setting that I use.
Shoot.
This time we're going to shift more into the more of the guidelines that Steve Grodzicki, the actual author of the Midlands, had in mind for the Midland setting, which is way less magic, dead gods. So this will fit right into those of you guys who are playing Dragonlance out there and seeing that for the first time, where there basically isn't magic from the gods. Now, I'm not saying if one of these guys wants to make a cultist, that wouldn't what the campaign would become, maybe, is trying to get the gods back to life or something. But in all reality, I did not include cultist. So out of all the classes, I think there's 9 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've lowered it to 7, which I've pulled out the classes that I don't like, which isn't nice, I guess, but hey, it's my game, damn it. I mean, it's our game.
What did you pull out? Cultist and
Artificer.
Artificer is what I guessed, yeah.
Because you know me, how much I love that. I've actually had some good Artificer classes in Midland games before. Brian's charity session that I ran a few years ago that I'm not even sure is available still was a very good example. Kevin Madison from the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel played the Artificer, and he did a really good job. All right, you guys got your stats, so now we're going to put them in order. So I have the stats. Oh, I have the stats right over here. But this is not the right screen.
I mean, my 18 was willpower. I think we've got to bring the cultist back now.
Whoa, that was super loud.
What was?
Someone's beep on their thing. I don't know if I have it on still or what. Where is that? When people roll dice that you get a sound, but it's the first time I got it. Maybe it was one of yours. I don't know. Anyway, we'll make it last. We'll be fine. All right, so like I say, I got the attributes there. Like most people are used to those. Strength is really going to physically strong. I don't know how deeply we have to get into this. Do people mostly know that? The different ones, maybe we should talk about those. Like I said, strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, and charisma. The added ones are perception. So he's added perception as an actual stat. I don't know if you guys know this, but in the early days, or maybe in the later days of first edition, perception as an attribute was in Dragon magazine. So a lot of late first edition, what some people call 1.5, actually had perception and also comeliness in their as stats. So my AD&D games had 8 stats. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't remember the perception part. I do remember the comeliness.
That comeliness, I think that's because comeliness was in Unearthed Arcana. That's probably why it got a lot more, I don't know, traction per se than anything else, than just Dragon magazine articles or something. All right, so the new perception is interesting because perception now is also going to be your modifier for ranged as opposed to dex,
I thought that was interesting too. Yeah.
which is pretty cool. And then willpower is very similar to wisdom, I would say, in this game. So really perception is kind of the only stat. And then luck, and we'll talk about luck later, I guess. So why don't we start with you, Robert? What kind of statistics did you get? You want to just read them off quick?
Sure. I ignored the one where I screwed up the rolling thing, but I could use that one instead if you want, because that was an 11. And it did roll just 3, but I was just copying and pasting, and it did something weird. So my rolls were fairly low, so in comparison. So I had an 11 for strength, an 8 for dexterity, a 13 for con, 11 for int, 6 for perception, 9 for willpower, 4 for charisma. I ignored that 11 in there.
Okay. And that's your choice. I don't really care. You can change the charisma
Well, I
to
thought it
11
had
if you
screwed it
want.
up, but it did just roll 3d6. But so I know it also said on there, generate your attributes, and then you have to have at least one attribute of 13 or higher, which I have, but I don't have one that's 15 or higher. Are you doing that?
Yep.
Or are you not going to do that?
Nope. Yep. I'm doing that. So yeah, that's one of the ways he's making it so you don't basically have to just scrap the character and restart. So, and you can make these anything you want. They don't have to be the class that you're looking for or something. So each
Right.
class, similar to like a 5e, is going to have a primary attribute. But you don't have to make that your 15. So you have a 13. So you can choose one of these attributes to change to a 15. Do you know what you're going to do that in yet, or no?
No, I don't.
All right. So you think about that, Stu. Why don't you tell us what you got going on?
Yeah. Interesting rolls, like noteworthy. Like strength is 8, so that'd be -1 modifier. My perception was 13, and will was the 18 roll. So as I said, we need to bring cultists back. And then my charisma is a 4.
Yeah, same as me.
Nice. This is going to be a really talky group.
Yeah.
Unless one of you, Robert takes his charisma and makes that a 15.
Oh.
And this comes later on here. You're supposed to choose your class first, but to me that doesn't make a lot of sense. We could actually do background first because the background actually gives you a bonus to an attribute, but I can see where you should actually have to decide where your 15 and 13 goes before actually doing that. So I was going to say, but maybe before we choose class, we can roll a background and see how that helps.
Sure.
All right, Stu, do you know, you already have a 13 and 18, so your character is set for now, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to play a cultist? I mean, I'm okay with it, but the thing is I'm not going to give you any of the benefits that would be magical in nature, unless we can come up with a good background way that happened, and then roll that into the session maybe, because it has to be significant. Like what was her name? Gold Moon? Didn't she find something in a hidden cave somewhere, and that's kind of what sparked a lot of the
I hadn't thought about that in a while. Yeah, let's not do that for this sort of playtest game. Like, let's.
I mean, we got to playtest cultists at some point too, so I'm okay with it. It was just that my thought was I was really trying to, pull down. But there's another. I'm pretty sure there's another character class that uses willpower. Might be monk.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm about that life though.
Okay, well, all right, that makes sense. That's good.
Let's see what Robert ends up with. Maybe we'll kind of come up with a duo.
Okay, we'll shift over to Robert then. Robert, did you figure out where you were gonna apply your 15? I know Robert likes making magic users, so I think all of the people out there in the gamerhood should just go magic user.
Yeah, I could go with magic user, but I don't know. I was just looking to see if there's something else I want to play that I don't normally play.
And if we want to, we don't have to use the same characters in the next play through. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to keep these characters. We can make different characters. And if we hate these characters, I mean, I'm not going to make you play guys that you don't like. But sometimes I can find it more challenging, and eventually, you know, you kind of figure that out as you go. No one is talking to us, so I don't know who's out there in chat land. But if anyone can give us some help, that would be fantastic. No help. Why don't I show you guys the options of classes? And I don't mean my players here. I really mean the other people. So we got the Barbarian. Does that pop out? Yeah, I did. Okay, good.
Is that what you're choosing?
Me?
Oh, I thought did Stu say he's taking the Barbarian?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
We got the Bard, the Bard in low fantasy gaming and TOA is actually pretty cool. I've seen quite a few cool bards played in this system. And we have the Fighter, which is a very legit. The Magic User, who in all reality really covers a cleric class as well, in my opinion, because their lists of spells are going to be similar to what clerics could do. The Monk. We have had a Monk previously. A Ranger, which I see Rangers all the time. They seem very popular. Now the art in here, like I say, this is a PDF that's not necessarily final. So some of the artwork is not going to be there. And some of this artwork is from LFG Deluxe as well. And then the Rogue. These are what I was thinking we would use. So a new thing in here that I like is he actually put the starting gear actually with the character class, which I kind of like. And then some quick information on him. Go ahead, Stu.
The people are demanding that we play a cultist and magic user.
Oh, who's the people?
The two people that are in the YouTube chat.
Aaron. who is it?
And James Richards.
Oh, James Richards and Aaron. Nice. A couple of Black Tower people from the land of the tall trees. Welcome, dudes. I feel like I got to get that on because I'm bored while you guys are trying to make these decisions.
I'm sorry, I was trying to decide what to do since, I thought it was rules as written, but, apparently not.
How do you figure it's not rules as written?
Sorry, I was just alluding to your crippling the cultist. That's all.
I didn't cripple them. Oh, I guess I kind of did. But this is exactly what Steve said. If it is, then it's going to be something super special. So I'm not really crippling them. I'm just saying, I said you could start, but you're going to have to tell in your backstory how you got those powers that people haven't had in a very long time from a group of dead gods.
Cool. So maybe fighter it is. I don't know. What are you thinking, Robert?
This was going to go against what I was thinking and normally would play, but I was going to go with the Bard.
So not really.
It's going to go against what everybody's saying.
Okay.
But
all right, no, do that. Actually, I maybe I'll go magic user.
Oh, I'm totally gonna be watching this because all these guys are being funny in here, Stu. You're not gonna get away with talking like that. I'm just kidding.
I'll have to watch this now. All right. I'm sure it's really entertaining staring at the rules.
All right. So what did we say? What was our decision here? Sorry, I got sidetracked.
Bard. I'm going to play the Bard.
Nice. All right. So that means you are going to put your 15 in charisma. All right. Well, let's bring this Bard up to. The Rogue is there. I wonder how I do that. Hey. And what'd you say you were going to do, Stu? A fighter?
Either fighter or magic user.
Oh, nice. So let's get rid of the Rogue, the Monk, the Ranger, and the Barbarian. So one of my players in the GRGA almost always plays a barbarian. So I'm glad that we're not doing a barbarian, guys.
I was gonna say magic user. A bard magic user pair is gonna be interesting, but I kind of just want to play one, so let's do it.
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I really do think it'll be fine. I'm not worried about it. And you know, there are hirelings in this game, and there's lots of different things that you can do.
And the magic user in this game, and this was true of the first edition too, is like not necessarily as maybe squishy as other fantasy dragon games.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So here's the bard. I didn't do the whole. Whoa, I didn't do the whole sheet, guys, but I did do the first page, basically. Let me see here. I'm trying to get this open so people can follow along. There we go. All right, so let's start with the bard here. We'll get a closer look at the bard. All right, so key attribute is charisma. So you're putting a 15 in charisma, which is nice. So I kind of like that. You're like the talky talk guy, and then you have this incorrigible wizard who is really a pain in the ass to everybody hanging around with you. All right, so and hit points are definitely different in this edition compared to LFG. So your hit points are equal to your con score. So what's your con score?
13.
13 times 2, or level times 2. So your first level, you did 2, so you're going to have 15 hit points.
Yep.
So that seems like a lot, but as you go up in levels, it's just going to keep doing that. So next level, you're only going to get 2 more because you're going to be second level times 4. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's level times 2, so you're really only going to have 17 next. So that's it. Like your character starts hit point wise pretty low. All right, you get your starting gear in here. You have a spear, a chain shirt, and an instrument if desired. You're going to get other stuff that's going to be like a group of other things, which is probably going to be like a weapon or just some other things later in the that are everyone gets in the gear section. But let's move on to the skills. So you have persuasion, deception, and general lore. Roll D10. So that's interesting. So, 3 times. So that you're going to have 3 more skills. All right. So while you're doing that, let's look over here at the magic user. So in the magic user, you get this con score plus level. So your hit points are only 1 different at first level, but obviously as you go up in levels, that's going to change. So that's interesting. Your key attribute is intelligence.
Yeah, I was actually noticing. I don't have an intelligence modifier, but that is actually what dictates the number of spells you start with.
Okay, so you won't have a spell? Is that what it's saying?
I believe so.
Okay, interesting. Oh, because yours are charisma and what's your other one? Willpower.
Perception and willpower.
Perception and willpower. Interesting. So what do we think, guys? In this instance, do we want Stu to change one of those to intelligence? What do you think, Robert? Are you against that?
No, I think that's fine.
Yeah, so I think you could change either of those attributes that you rolled to intelligence, and then take whatever your intelligence attribute is and apply it to the other one. So switch your perception, or
We'll do it.
because it seems silly to have a magic user if you won't even be able to cast any magic. Although there are some things that a magic user can do that is pretty cool. All
right, I did the swap just to keep it easy. I could have just pivoted to a different class too, but let's just roll with this.
Well, if you really want to play a magic user, I think we should, because I think that'll give us some fun stuff. All right, so at first level, a magic user's attack bonus is a 0, same as a bard. Your abilities are spellcasting and sense magic, where the bard is inspired greatness and silver tongued. Interesting. The magic user can use one-handed weapons like crossbows, a sling, and light armor. So light armor basically is just going to give you +1 to your AC. You start with a long sword, a spell book, and leather armor. All right, sweet. Let's look over here at the bard now. Looks like, I guess we already covered it. Oh, light, medium armor, and shields. So you can choose. It looks like you start with a medium armor, which gives you a +3 AC. In this game, just like, I guess I didn't read that. Did you guys? The armor hasn't really changed, right? But did you guys notice that he moved to a silver standard?
Oh no, I didn't. Or
Didn't either.
Yeah, he moved to a silver standard in this game, which is pretty interesting. And like the weapons there's trauma tables for each type of weapon, as opposed to the way he was doing like other things in the past. All right, so wearing armor. So like light armor could be however you want to describe it, as far as it goes game mechanically. It's just going to give you a +1 to your AC. Neither of your characters, the bard can use a shield. Good. Medium armor is a +3 to your AC, and like I say, it can be whatever you want it to be, but it does impose a -2 penalty on stealth and swimming related checks. Shield provides a +1 to AC, but it can still do the sundered shield, just like in LFG. But in this game, it actually destroys the shield, kind of like I've always done it. Oh no, it says that it continues. Oh, okay, that's the magical adamantite. Anyway, and after talking with Steve, even though it doesn't say that in the book, it's expected that you could only do a single attack per adventure. So that's the way we're going to do it. All right. In the weapons category, natural 19s still have an effect. Everything has an effect now. It used to be that bows did not have a special 19 effect, but now basically it's increasing the damage, it looks like. Oh yeah, on the natural 19. Interesting. Or maybe it's an extra bonus roll. I don't know. I didn't even read that because I figured we would figure that out when the time comes if we needed to. All right. Do you guys get your skills applied?
Yep.
What's there?
All right. So you got them done. So why don't you tell us about them?
Yep. The 3 I rolled up was Apothecary, Gather Information, and Arcane Lore.
Okay. You took arcane lore even though we got a wizard in the group. Oh, no, that's what you rolled, so why not? So maybe that's the attachment in some way. What about you, Stu? What do you got?
So I start with arcane lore and apothecary. I rolled animal lore, deception, and detection.
Okay, nice. Did you move your perception over, or did you move the charisma over?
I moved the willpower over.
Oh, willpower. I keep thinking it was charisma, but it's not.
Yeah, so...
Okay, nice.
Detection, perception, still kind of work out a bit.
Oh, hey, long shot. Welcome, buddy. Interestingly enough, the DDM isn't the same as it used to be, but we'll get into that when we get there because we got a spellcaster. All right, nice. So why don't we kind of have that portion of character generation complete. So a new thing is a random roll on the backgrounds table. Is that what we're at? Oh, calculate initiative. So we're going to take the average of dex and initiative and round down.
Dex and intelligence?
Yeah, sorry. Dex and intelligence. Thank you, sir. That's why I got these guys. Top-notch players.
And hit points? So hold on.
It's just saying to calculate your initiative. That's kind of weird, a little weird, isn't it? In my reading, it's saying calculate initiative, which is average of dex and intelligence round down, comma, and calculate your hit points, which according to your class.
Oh, okay. Got it.
All right. So we already did the hit points part. Let's do the luck. So your luck is 11, and your rerolls are 2 if human. So in my games, you really only can be human, but I'm fine with everyone having 2 rerolls at first level. I don't care. It'll probably be not balanced in any way, and you're going to need those. So that's fine. All right, so and we'll talk about luck in a little bit, maybe when I find it on the thing here. You guys, I'm pretty sure, are relatively familiar with luck, but
Right.
we'll go. So now this actually has a backgrounds random roll, and it's a 6d6. So it looks like somebody rolled it already. Stu, what'd you get?
48.
4, 8. So that's down here. 4,
Right.
8 is...
Sorry, is it 2d6 or 1d?
It's 1d66.
Yeah, okay.
So there can't be an 8. So not 66. You roll 2d6, guys.
Oh, right.
That's why
It's a d66 table, yeah. Not a
I just typed the wrong thing. Yeah.
66 table, yeah. All right, so now we're at 12, which is a rat catcher. All right, so the rat catcher gets a +1 to his dex, and he gets the skill stealth, and you have a cheese wedge.
This is
Definitely.
great.
What's that?
This is great.
It's cool. I like it. And what do you got, Robert? You got a 4-1. So 4-1 is a beekeeper. Interesting. +1 to your int. You get animal lore, and you have a jar of bees. I don't know, guys. Stu doesn't seem really impressed.
No, I feel like the cheese wedge and jar of bees aren't going to be game breaking. So I don't know what
you
you have.
never know. They could be if someone gets coated in honey and you let some bees out on them. Oh, I guess that's a bear, isn't it? I don't know.
I think you think I'm like making fun of it, but I think it's kind of cool.
No, I think it's cool too. It seems like a throwback a little bit to some more DCC that he's kind of adding.
I like random things in my inventory to.
And it gives the a little different feel than it did before with backgrounds, in my opinion. All right, so where are we at now? Let's go back to reality. All right, so we got. All right, you already did your skills. If you get the same skill twice, roll again. Interesting. Oh, so you were supposed to do this first. Did anyone double up on their skills?
No.
No. All right, perfect. All right, note your first level class abilities. So we kind of mentioned those briefly. Before we get there, we'll talk about luck. I don't think it's really changed very much. At the start of an adventure, a PC's luck attribute is equal to 10 plus half their level rounded up. So first level characters have 11. There's a few ways to use luck. One is the luck save, which is going to use your attribute, and then it's going to use the modifier that is pertinent to whatever you're saving against. So if you're trying to dive out of the way of something like it could be dragon breath, or it could be like a pit trap or whatever, you would roll dex modify, or you would roll a luck check modified by dex. So if you had a +1 modifier with your dex and you had 11 luck, that means you would need a 12 or less to succeed at that luck save. But anytime you succeed with a luck save, your luck goes down by 1. All right. You can also, your luck is also, those luck saves are also used for exploits, party retreats, and a few different things. It only goes down if you succeed in the luck save. Now, I've also used luck with, similarly to how some of the big DCC GMs use luck. Like if something is randomly going to happen, who has the lowest luck, and that's who it happens to. Or if we're not sure what's going on, if it's not necessarily a negative thing, I might just have both players make a luck check. And in that situation, whoever rolls with more gap, right? That's how contested rolls work in this game. Am I wrong or right? Did anyone look that far? Maybe we'll look at that later. Anyway, that's mostly luck. He kind of goes into more detail with luck here, which is probably a good idea. All right, now there's races, but I'm not using any races. other than human, or I don't know why he probably shouldn't name it race. He should probably, maybe we should tell him he should change that, but I don't know. All right, classes. So we did not do a barbarian, but here's the bard. So the bard can inspire greatness, which basically you get one use of this ability per level. You may inspire greatness at any time, no action, provided an ally is within far range. So this game does not use range by feet. It uses more of a, I think he was trying to apply better to a theater of the mind type of game. And we'll maybe talk about that in a little bit. I think I have it in the movement section here on here. So basically what you can do is you inspire an ally, grant them a bonus equal to your charisma modifier on any roll, and you may use this ability after seeing the result of the roll. You may use this ability on your own rolls if you can see or hear an ally within far range. Expended uses may be regained by a short or long rest. So that's kind of interesting that you can affect your own rolls when you're inspiring greatness. It's almost like you are kind of a ham in that situation. Doesn't it seem like that? Do you think that's what he's saying there? What do you think, Robert?
Let me go back to that. I have to read it myself, too.
Okay. While he's reading it, we'll talk about silver-tongued. Basically what it does is it gives you advantage when you use gather information skill when performing to entertain or inspire, and when using either the persuasion or deception skill. Choose one. So you're going to have to choose one of those. Do you have either perception or persuasion or deception?
No, I don't.
So that's kind of weird. So that should be... That's weird, isn't it? Why wouldn't that be one of the... Oh, yeah, you do. You start with persuasion and deception and general lore. You get those.
Oh, I didn't see those. Yep, I didn't see that too. Yep.
You get those three, so you have to choose which one of those you're going to be basically have advantage at.
I think I'm gonna do deception.
All right.
But let me come back to inspire greatness. So
You're a speaking bastard. I got you.
So the inspire greatness thing, you were talking about the second part, right? What was it? You may use this ability on your own rolls if you can see or hear an ally within far range.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
So what's the question?
Why do you think he's set? If you think you're inspiring greatness, why would you be able to do your own rolls, and why would they only be if an ally is within sight?
Because it's at the top, it says your unifying presence builds trust within the party and inspires its companions to moments of greatness. So,
but that isn't your companions, that's you.
I know that's not you, but it is unifying and building trust within the party.
I think
and
it's just
I am part of the party.
Bards are hams, and so only if they're around.
That's what you're thinking?
I do. I think that. Yeah, I don't know.
But you have to be able to see or hear an ally within far range, right?
Yeah.
So that means
Well, right,
you feel bolstered. You're feeling bolstered already by...
This is my question. If a bard hams it up and no one can see or hear them, are they really hamming it up? Oh, sorry. Stu, you got anything to add to that or no? That is...
No, I was focused on this. I actually just realized, at least the way this is currently written, a difference with magic users compared to the first edition is spells are levelless. Like there's just a master of spells to roll for.
Yeah, because you don't really have DDM anymore, so you're making that check, and then how well you do with that check, I think, tells you how well the spell comes off or how powerful it is. Interesting. All right, so I think that covers what the bard can do. So you should have your AC, you should have all of that stuff. Let's look over here at the magic user. All right, so spell casting. You know a number of spells equal to your int bonus. Roll 1d50 and consult the spell list to determine which. Page 98, guys. I don't have a vision of 98. Was Aaron here when I was talking about Holmes and Clark?
I think he's been here since the beginning.
Nice.
When you were bragging about which things you haven't gotten to the table as much as you wanted.
Yes, exactly. All right, you gonna roll a d50 here, or what? Or you already did? Oh, we got
did, yeah.
3,
So-
12. Why don't you tell us what we got?
Yeah, so I've got Crush of the Warp, which is used to paralyze humanoids. Riddle of Bones, which is sort of a Speak with Dead equivalent.
Ooh.
And Arcane Aegis, which is like a shield.
A shield spell. Which
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe we should probably look up at these spells and see. All right, the Arcane Aegis lasts 2d6 hours or until expended.
And you can, they don't call it this, but sunder it. Like you can negate a physical attack by getting rid of it as well.
Yes, that's what I was going to say, is that you can use that to negate the physical attack. And that physical attack doesn't have to be a sword. It could be like any kind of single directional thing. And did you see this? On a great success, you get a +2 AC. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and I had to refresh myself with that too, that you make an intelligence check to succeed in casting the spell.
Right. And
that
go ahead.
Success.
My first suggestion was to change that from an intelligence check to an arcane lore check. All right, that's Arcane Aegis. The next one was Crush of the Warp.
Yep. 1d4 humanoids paralyzed for 2d6 rounds.
This is crazy because this is basically like a hold person spell.
Yeah.
Right? At first level. But it's only in close. So that might be an interesting thing, because that's almost like in combat, right? Let's move down to, maybe I didn't put it in here, move. Oh, I did. All right. Oh, 30 feet or so. So you basically have to be within 30 feet. All right, and the last one, like you said, Riddle of Bones. The way he's making it be like this, I think it automatically is building in wizards or magic users trying to go and find spells. Or if it's, like if you're saying it's clerical magic trying to go and look through old lore and try and see more things. What do you think about that?
Yeah, maybe. I was trying to figure out, just kind of backing up to me not realizing I didn't have an intelligence modifier. Like, what would the expected way of that playing out? Just choose a different class versus, what would a normal progression be where a magic user would learn more spells? Because I don't see a level-based chart anywhere either.
So I think usually it says it in the spell casting. Let's see. So this is interesting. We are doing a play test here, so anything we can find out to help him is going to be good. All right. Usually it's like, oh, it doesn't even say. I remember in the old game, it basically said when you go up a level, you would basically get another spell. But it looks to me like with each new level, you may learn one new spell during downtime. So when you get to the second level, you'd have a spell.
Oh, where'd you see this?
Right in spellcasting.
Spellcasting, okay.
Right after the D150, it says with each new level, you may learn one spell during spell time.
Oh, I see.
And also, you could find grimoires and scrolls, etc., as treasure to unlock unique spells to learn. Or they don't have to be unique spells. They could be other spells, right, that already existed or known to the realm. But really, the whole idea of any spells being known at all is pretty rare, because magic is very rare in this setting. I don't know how both of us missed that, honestly, that it said that right in that same paragraph.
Yeah, I don't think it's really a fault of it. I think I was looking for it in something like the progression table, like at the bottom. Or
yeah, it's not in there though. Isn't that
when
interesting?
it's a kind of a different paradigm than like a classic Dragon games where it's like number of slots per level. It's really just an extra one per level. So I'm not sure how to make it more clear, but high
And
distance.
so maybe we should take a second to bounce to Magic and see the differences in Magic, because my buddy Longshot mentioned the DDM for the win, and I don't even know if it's actually if they have DDM anymore.
So I did see it.
Oh, it's
I
on.
didn't-
Is it a failure on or a 1 that you go to DDM?
level of spell, I think it is. Let me just. I don't want to misspeak.
All right. Oh yeah, it's automatically triggered. That's what it is. So
Well, there's a
see.
D8. For like so, based on character level,
no, you have to go into spellcasting on page 89.
and then go down to page 90.
Yeah, and on page 89, so I've talked about this quite a bit. One of the cool things about LFG and now Tales of Argosa is there's really 4 results from any check. Failure, success, total failure, and great success. And so he's used this when you cast magic. So when you have a great success, you take your DDM check and it's made with advantage. Right? If you have a success, you do your DDM check as normal and the spell works normal. Also, if a great success, the spell is more potent. With a failure, you make a DDM check as normal. So success and failure, the DDM check is as normal. And a terrible failure is the DDM effect is automatically triggered. So that's pretty sick right there. Stu, you look stunned.
No, I was just interacting with the chat.
All right, DDM may also be all... I don't know, I didn't look at the DDM yet. But basically what you're saying is, oh yeah, by level, so... Yeah, maybe you're not like engaging with the rift, with the veil nearly as much.
Well, I'm just saying, yeah, like it scales. So like at level 1, I would roll a 1d8.
Yeah.
And the first check, failure would be at a 1.
So it's like a little dice chain action going on here. I wouldn't say they're all negative effects either, Longshot, because I saw that he says that here. Basically, you get a tentacle.
Yeah,
With a strength of 15, but you can't cast spells for D6 days. That's pretty sick. A foul beard. I don't know if we should read these off or if we should wait till they happen. Fell fingers. You won't be able to cast spells for D6 minutes. You create a doppelganger. Or tusks. Making eating and speech awkward. It's crazy. Cool stuff, though. It's kind of interesting. But if you roll a 1 on the D8, did you see that? The magic functions as usual, but roll a D100 for an additional effect from the DDM table.
I thought that was that was the DDM result. Meaning additional was additional effect over the spell effect.
Oh, yeah. Probably, yeah, if you roll a 1, you don't get tentacled, is what you're saying. You get whatever you roll. Right?
If you roll a 1 on the D8, when you roll for DDM, the spell goes off, and you roll a D100 to see what the effect is.
Yes, it's, as opposed to normally if you rolled a D8, it would go straight to tentacled, right? If you get a 2 on the DDM die.
I didn't... You mean like in the first edition?
No, on this one.
Oh.
Because if you roll a 2 on this DDM die, what happens to you? Tentacled,
Nothing.
right?
The spell goes off, but then next time, if you get a 2, you'll roll the D100
Oh, you know what? I got confused. Here. Because it used to be you rolled a D20 and then the DDM would go up each time. Okay, that is what's happening. See, because you put...
It's just the one dice. Like, it's within the dice per level at this point. Like, if you're level 1 through 3, it's a D8, and then the DDM...
Oh, you know what I thought was going on? I thought I thought if the dark and dangerous magic thing happened to you, it would be limited to the die that you roll. I totally messed that up. All right, yeah. Ignore what I was saying before. It's very similar to what it used to be. But that's kind of a cool idea too. So it's very, very, very similar to what it was before.
Do you remember? Did you roll it for magic item use before? I didn't remember that.
You're supposed to, but we never had magic items really in most of the games, so it didn't really come up. But yeah, you are supposed to, using magic items in different things. There's also divine rebukes in here, and it has its own table. The divine rebukes if you're playing a cultist. You know, if cultists were available.
Uh-huh.
All right, nice. All right, so wow, it's been a while since we heard from you, Robert. What were you working on? I don't remember.
I'm just entering in all my features and stuff.
Okay, just to have them on your thing.
I have them on the sheet.
So these are some pretty cool spells. It's not as good as a Dark Slumber or something like that, but still pretty good. You got some different things you can do. And you can just keep casting them, right?
Yeah, I mean, so it's once per adventure, but it's an option to recoup.
Oh, okay. It is once per adventure.
But it's also a candidate to recoup one after the short rest. Like you could use one of the
will checks.
Yeah.
Where does it say that? I don't even see that.
I read it earlier. Where is it? It's at the bottom of that spellcasting section under the class. You may regain expended usage by taking short or long rests.
You'd think that would be in the sorcery section. So you can still cast 3 spells at first level or only 1 spell?
I think it's going to limit it to 1 per encounter at least, and then if you short rest, like you could do it again.
Oh, okay. All right, I understand. That makes sense.
Yeah. And if it was considered I think it's worded as significant combat, then you could short rest and then get it back.
Oh, but not at all. But see, that would only be once. And that means that if you didn't, that means you can only cast 1 spell per encounter, no matter what level you are.
Yeah, I didn't see any evidence that it scales with. Well, I didn't actually read all the, at 3rd level, at 7th level.
Yeah, no, that doesn't say anything else. So that's interesting right there.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I don't know. I don't feel super strongly about it. I did think it was interesting. There's not like a minimum of 1 spell if you don't have an intelligence modifier, which is fine. Like it just encourages to grab another class, right? Like if it's not a fit.
But I don't know if I like that you only get 1 spell per 1 use of this ability.
Oh, per level.
Ah, well, there. That answers right there.
It's in bold.
Yeah. Man, we're having trouble reading this, aren't we? It must be the Hodor font. All right, everybody. Our confusion was unwarranted, but it seems fairly limited because it's not a bunch of slots. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like 1 per level, right? I mean, I think it scales well. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. And that actually kind of brings it more in line with the other classes as well, because all the other classes, if they have like an ability for their level, then they only get 1 use of it, per level, basically. All right. Shoo. Wow, guys. That was a lot harder than it should have been, I think. All right. let's go back. Do we have anything else that we need to do as far as the character creation goes? Add gear. Okay, so you note your first level class abilities. Some classes roll to determine starting abilities. Interesting. We didn't pick either of those, right? It looks like a monk rolls to see which techniques he has or something, and maybe a fighter does with his adaptable to see what things he's most known with. I'm gonna have to start giving people bonuses for chatting in the Twitch. Don't you guys know that that's the whole point, is to get your community going? Jesus.
Who's watching on Twitch? Do you have that many people?
It says 8 viewers, but I don't ever mention who the viewers are unless they chat first. I think
No, but I meant how many, right?
Yeah, but I don't know how many of those are bots. Because some of the names look a little botty. You're not even showing up in there, Robert. Did you take off and you decided, no way am I hanging out in that chat anymore?
I dropped it and went over to the YouTube one.
Oh. So the question is maybe the Gamerhood shouldn't even be on Twitch. Maybe it should just be YouTube. There's a lot of new things with YouTube, but I don't know. It's a good question. What I do know is I think these characters are finished. Did you guys do your gear? So you got your gear from your class gear.
Yeah, the stuff everybody gets, then 10 silver.
You got your attack bonuses figured out. Perception modifier for ranged, which is nice. 10 silver pieces. There's another indication of the change. Extra language is equal to your int modifier. That's interesting.
Where do you want us to put our initiative? Because there's nothing in the old sheet, right? So we just put it like on a note?
You're going to have to figure out where you're going to put it, yeah.
And then other stuff is just like roll your age.
Yeah, you're going to do that?
Sure.
D20 plus 16. So you're kind of older. But
Unless you roll a 1.
This rat catcher was really active for a long time. You can tell because he got a cheese wedge.
21.
What about Stu? Ooh.
Stu's older.
37. This almost kind of goes right. I mean, when you're in the, there's a lot to learn and a lot of room for growth in the rat catcher profession and that career. So, all right. Do you guys want to, like in this game, it would normally say that you'd roll randomly for what race you are or what species. It's species, right? What species you are.
Ancestry, stuff like that.
Well, because since it's only species, it's not cultures. What
Sure.
about? Do you guys want to do a random roll for culture, or do you guys just want to pick a culture?
Whatever you think. I don't know if there's one of those options that maybe work better just for what you had in mind for what we're playing. Good either way.
I don't. What instrument is Robert's bard playing?
I don't know. That'd be good for somebody to suggest to me. But
All right, James Richard asked the question in on the old YouTube channel. What instrument are you playing, bro?
Do you think the bard here is written kind of like that classic archetype of, I don't know, influence things through song?
No. Do you?
Yeah. I didn't think so. I was just curious.
I definitely haven't thought it before, especially with the image that's a Venori. And every bard I've seen in this game is, hey, the real long shot. Thanks for switching to Twitch, buddy. Get somebody talking in here. Now start, like, introducing yourself, long shot. Get some conversation going.
It's your channel now.
It's all you, buddy. Just get crazy.
what does James Richards suggest for my instrument?
He hasn't answered yet. What about you, long shot? You seem to be active. Does anyone out there have a suggestion for I think it's always didgeridoo when anyone asks me about.
No, it's not gonna be a didgeridoo.
All right, let's read the bard and see what we.
Although
think.
that's kind of buzzing sound like a bee, but
Yeah.
True.
You are a bard, a charismatic wanderer, part artist, diplomat, and warrior, as skilled with blades as you are with ballads. You might be a fearsome skald, a celebrated performer, or a master of whispers. In your travels, you draw knowledge from all corners, forging alliances and extracting secrets from those who should know better. A bard's influence fortifies the company, strengthening bonds and the common will to prevail. With the right words and deeds, the bard elevates the party beyond the sum of its parts. With this age discrepancy, it almost seems like, oh God, Real Longshot says that you got sticks. You clack them together and whack others. That totally seems like a 5e idea, Longshot. What do you guys think of like one being a mentor to the other, obviously the older guy, or like son, or do you guys have any thoughts about that at all? Page 154 is names, by the way. We have a rat catcher and what was the other?
Beekeeper.
A
Beekeeper.
Nice.
Like, we met at like the farmer's market. Yeah, I would like sell my extra cheese I lure rats out with next to his stand of honey.
All right, one of the options, if we don't, I already stopped listening to you. Sorry, Stu.
Yeah,
One
no,
of the
please.
one of the options.
Longshot already made that suggestion. He wrote cheese and honey in the.
He did. I think it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Is that the name of your group?
cheese and honey.
Honey cheese. Instead of honey, please. All right, so they have some names on page 154. He suggests naming your adventure that you could use. Aaron Clark's phone died. All right, welcome back, Aaron. The question that we've posed to the watchers is, what instruments is Robert's bard? If he has one, you don't even have to have one if you don't want to. You could definitely perform as an orator or whatever.
I just picked one. I chose it unless somebody's got something different.
All right. Well,
Bone flute.
A bone flute.
Yeah.
Oh, or a flute. Or for some reason, I thought that you were like edging into the edging into that double entendre area that this channel might be known for. All right. So, but not really. That's just like an underlying thing.
That's
we got
where
to
you're
get chatters.
going.
We got to get chatters in the game because otherwise, who's going to play bingo when we get the stream going again? Yeah, exactly. Real long shot. Exactly. All right. So I see in this name table that some of the names actually have. I guess it's also female names, but has cultures attached to it. Of the 5 cultures of Argosa. So if we're really having issues choosing a culture, what do you want to kind of go by that maybe, or what do you think?
Sure. Let's roll it. 1d100. Oh.
It's actually, yeah. What'd you get?
I got 93.
93.
An F in parentheses.
Which means a female name. All right. So your options are. This is kind of weird. Your options are you could like move it up and down, or we could just pick again. Or we could just randomly roll what the culture is if you guys want to come up with your own names. There's 5 cultures.
Oh, sure.
And I would think Thules is probably not really going to be something that I would think would be a good idea. So that means it's going to lower us to Argosans, Nadicians. Oh, that would mean that the Dane name is Argosan, by the way, if you just went down to that. That would be basically Argosans, Nadicians, Varnori, and Karoks. So we can weight it even because more people, there's going to be more Argosans in Argosa than these other cultures. So why don't we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think we would go 1, 2. We could roll a d6. We could go 1, 2. Why don't we just go? Geez, maybe we should make it higher. What do you guys think? I think that there should be like Varnori are going to be, they're pretty around a lot, but not as much as Argosans. Yeah, why don't we just roll a d4? Screw it.
2.
2. Nidician. Which is really awesome because Nidician culture is very anti-magic witch hunters. What'd you get, Robert?
4.
4, which is Karoks, which is the Dal Karok. Nice. So I will jump over here to... I have some names for each of these cultures that we can roll on if we'd like. Nidicians roll a d20. Stu? What'd you get?
4.
Throat singer, mouth organ, or jaw harp was Aaron Clark's.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right, nice. All right, so Norcil, Norcil. Do you like it?
I'm sorry, that's a name?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Norcil.
Norcil. What'd you get? Roll a d20.
You said are they the same?
No, it'd be a different table.
No, I know, but the table sizes are the same.
Yeah, d20. You're both playing males, I'm assuming.
That's what I was thinking.
All right, what'd you get?
16.
16. Vicente. Which is kind of funny because I asked Stu earlier if I could have all Karakians have French accents. All right, so let's look at, I'm going to read you a little bit about these cultures. We'll start with the Karoks. The albino Karoks are the elder and most striking of the Midland races, with milk-white skin and ghost-gray hair. Of all humans dwelling in the region, they are ostensibly the most secure, protected by the mountain fortress of Dal Karok, the Iron Hull Mountains, and the White Drifts beyond. Let's jump back to the tabletop, and we'll head over to our themed map for the game. We can kind of maybe get some ideas. Oh, I didn't move you guys. I just moved myself, didn't I? Man, I'm a professional, you guys. Professional. Hello, hello. Please move the map. Oh, I know what I did wrong. All right, here's a beautiful map of the Midlands, or Argosa. All right, so we're talking about, this is where it is up here. You see it up there, Dal Karok?
Yep.
All right. And Nidisia is actually way to the south. You can see it says Nidisia down here. Melek is the northernmost outpost of the Nidisians. There once was another outpost here. It was named Kalis, I think, but it was destroyed by the basically Argosans, because it was encroaching too much in this area. So anyway, before we get into that, let's talk about, so we said Dal Karok, the Iron Hull Mountains, and the White Drifts beyond. This map is 20 miles to a hex, by the way. So pretty big area. Massive inland sea here. These are the main areas of culture for Argosa. You got Northgate, Port Brax, Crow's Keep, and then you have the Karakians, Dal Karok up here, the Vernori, Vorngard way up here, and then the Nidicians to the south. All right, the Circle of Five, an elite merchant council of Dal Karok's most powerful trading houses, rule the mountain. Karoks have access to the best metals and mineral resources in the land, which has made them exceptionally wealthy and affirmed their importance as trade partners. Karak clothing varies greatly according to caste and taste. Amongst the noble Mithri, intricate gowns and exquisite coats are common. The most powerful houses utilize rare and exotic materials, including highly exclusive rare silks from far eastern Shenzhou. Ornate masks are customary on formal occasions, worn by the influential as expressions of power, style, and house affiliation. Less prosperous commoners, known as kavar, dress more practically but with similar ostentation, substituting valuable gems for faux stones and expert embroidery.
I would,
Go ahead.
yeah, I would think Vicente would be more of the Kavar.
Commoner, or he
Yeah,
could
commoner.
be an outcast as well.
No, I think I'm gonna go with the commoner. I'm gonna change his musical instrument though to maybe
Harp.
since they're kind of ostentatious. I'm gonna do panpipes.
Okay. So why are panpipes more ostentatious?
I don't know. I kind of associate them with
I associate panpipes with satyrs.
right, and I kind of think of satyrs as flamboyant, and I don't know.
Is that because of Chronicles of Narnia? What was the satyr's name in Chronicles of Narnia? Anybody know?
I don't know. I don't know.
No.
Anybody in chat know? I don't know. It's a good question. I saw a. I don't know if anybody knows this, but here's an interlude for you. I saw a TikTok today that a guy was looking at. We're talking about Harry Potter and the world of J.P. Rowling or whatever. That J.K. Rowling, if you look at who created the wizard schools, it said, all right, Real Long Shot, thanks for being around, buddy. I'll post it. If you look at them, the 4 kids that came to Narnia totally do Hufflepuff, Gryffindor, Slytherin, and Ravenclaw. And Rowling confirmed that was a heavy inspiration. So it's almost like the world is like after that, which is maybe it's like they're two that are together or something of the differences between Narnia and Harry Potter. So there you go. I don't know if that means anything, but there you go. Anyway, all right. So Carracks believe the spirits of their entombed forebears linger within the stone of their primordial home, revering their ancestor halls as holy gestalts of earth and soul. Traditionally, the more wealth one amasses, the stronger one's soul connects with the stone, perhaps partly explaining the Carracks' preoccupation with commerce. The last of the dwarves, known as servitors, languish in Dal Karak, shackled and enslaved by the circle and their own racial gold lust. Numbering in the hundreds, they spend their days endlessly toiling in the mines, eager to exploit new veins. Carracks do not have a large standing army, but all citizens are required to undertake a period of compulsory military training and expected to take up arms in defense of their home if required. On the rare occasion they need to assert their interests in the field, the Circle prefer to send mercenaries to do their bidding. Dol Carracks resident Stone Guard are few in number, but expertly trained, equipped with intimidating armor, crossbows, and hammers. So there's some info on the Carrackians. You got any questions about any of that, Robert?
Nope. I was reading along on my copy as well.
Oh, you have Midlands? Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, so Nadicians. So this is for you, Stu. The dark-skinned people of equatorial Nadicia are expansionists with the largest and most experienced forces in the region. They have dark eyes and hair, often cropped short or woven into tight braids. Nadicians are governed by the philosophical order known as the Lucentum, who value logic. Robert, do you know Latin? Would it be Lucentum or it's Lucentum, right?
I think so.
I don't know why I didn't ask Stu, but Robert's like a doctor, I guess, so it's okay, or a professor. I don't know. Yeah,
And we all know that you know everything.
That's right.
When you become a professor, so
that's right. You definitely know the pronunciation of a dead language. All right. who value logic and reason above all other human qualities, including empathy. They worship no gods, but recognize that magic is real and dangerous. Sorcerers are hunted by the Ordo Malefactos, and those ousted burnt alive. Slavery is fundamental to the growing empire, which is increasingly relies on the conquered to provide conscripts and supplies. In no way whatsoever do we think slavery is okay, and I would not be opposed to some game that is stopping slavery in some way. All right. From conquered to provide these conscripts and supplies. Integration is slow to non-existent. Although the empire offers trade and protection, forced occupation and the Lucentum's credo makes genuine conversion difficult. Nadicians are partial to airy togas and light tunics to accommodate the warmer southern weather. Melek is their northernmost city, founded approximately only 60 years ago. All right, the southern armies are led by generals broken down into cohorts and spearheaded by small elite warrior cadres known as centurions. They wear breastplates and greaves, armed with spears and large shields, and fight with disciplined coordination. All right, what do you think about all that? Anything?
No, it's interesting, but I think that also would explain why a magic user of that culture would get out.
Would flee that, yeah, for sure. All right. So, do we have any questions about anything? Or are we ready to go as far as we know?
I think we're good on character generation.
Okay. So, what we can do, if we haven't already decided kind of what's keeping the two of you together, is there's a thing in the Midlands. I don't think it's in... do you guys want to roll on any of these traits or personalities, or are you good with taking care of your own traits and personalities for your characters?
Surely we can come up with something, right?
Okay, so you're...
All right. We'll learn about it as we go.
All right, that's fine with me. All right, so I don't think there's any bonds in this game. That lies in Midland. So both you guys will roll a d20 and we'll see which one we like. And if we don't like either of those, then we'll choose another one. All right, we got an 18 and a 2. 18. Monster hunters who dispatched the much maligned ogre twins Sorg and Grunkor, who had been terrorizing a city's borderlands, remote outposts, or Thule hunting grounds. I don't know about that. How about this? I like this one better. Basically, what we're rolling on is a party bond that basically says those who prefer to establish party bonds prior to commencing play, or when a new PC joins the party, a bonds table customized for the Midlands setting appears below. So basically, it's just to get an idea of how you guys know each other ahead of time, as opposed to meeting at an inn or something, or role playing that out. Number 2 is sailors, guides, or guards for Master Garcillo, a Karak merchant who toured the lake cities. I like that one. You guys like that?
Sure. Yeah, and it makes sense with Robert's character's culture, maybe just a tie to that guy. And
so as far as Stu's character, who we should write these down. Stu, what's your name?
It's Norsil. Norsil, Norsil.
Which definitely sounds like some kind of drug, right? Pharmaceutical. All right. Robert, your character's name is Vicente.
Yep.
I like it. All right. And now we have another NPC, Master Garcillo. Oui, monsieurs. So I did not have very good nerd cred, because I'd almost only recently finished watching Vikings. And the Franks, for whatever reason, reminded me of the Karakians, which is why I wanted to give them French accents.
It is kind of weird that, like, after you just recently read the description, I don't know if I quite see it, but that's cool though.
Oh no, yeah, it's not. It doesn't seem like it's based on any culture whatsoever.
Yeah, and the other names I looked on the list seem, and maybe Vicente too. Is that more Italian?
Yeah, Italian or
And Spanish. The other names were like Spanish.
Yes, yeah, I would agree. But hey, whatever. I got no excuse.
Yeah, I think I stopped. I think we need to go back and finish watching the Vikings, because we only watched up to maybe season 3. How many seasons are there? Do you know?
5, and then there's like
5.
2 movies that came after, I think.
And wasn't there like a spin-off series too?
That's what I mean, like a couple movies. I
Yeah,
don't know if they were
yeah.
movies or spin-off series, I guess. Yeah, I haven't watched any of those. Any thoughts on Vikings, Stu, that you want to add?
No, just that I didn't watch it.
Oh, you haven't watched it at all?
Nope.
Oh my gosh.
Nope.
Got what's the lead woman, Catherine Winnick or something like that?
Yeah, Lagatha.
Yep.
Yeah. I saw someone say recently that they thought after the first season it went downhill or something, or after episode 8 in the first season, the sacrifice. I was like, geez, I don't know. After that, it really got more into the culture and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's my thought. 9:30. All right. So we're at about an hour and a half, which there's no way a character like this should ever take this long, character generation. But
We talked a lot.
well, I like it. I want to be entertaining. So let's see. Where is my notebook? I know Steve is going to watch this, but I still want to write that down. Basically, MU spell without int bonus, right? That's something that he should probably consider. Maybe he wants to keep it that way, maybe he doesn't. But do magic users get a spell without an int bonus? What else? Do we have anything else that we feel like is something that he should take a look at? Aaron Clark, Stu, don't tell me what to do. Are you talking to him in another screen?
No, I was trying to figure out what it was in reference to. I missed the time which it was put in there, so I don't know. What the reference.
That's funny. He just put it in there, I think, relatively recently. Is there anything else that we think? Wasn't there some wording that was kind of weird that you didn't like?
Was that with the Dark and Dangerous Magic?
Well, I think for some reason there were 2 things we didn't see that were in the same paragraph. Like the one, we had no excuse; it was in bold, just like the you get additional castings per level.
But there was another thing that when you read it, you were like, but I explained that it was because of that, like where one word would really help to change that. What was that?
I don't know.
That was in the character generation, wasn't it? In the table, the character generation table. Yeah, right here, number 4. Calculate initiative, average of dex and int round down, and hit points according to your class.
Yeah.
That actually seems fine to me. What do you think about now after I mentioned it?
I think it's fine. The comma's sufficient to separate. I think I just read it fast.
Yeah, I need better lighting in here because we've been slacking. Did you want to do anything with these languages, Stu?
Sorry. What?
Languages. You get a language. Extra language is equal to your int modifier.
Oh. Yeah, I guess I should. Let's see.
Obviously, you would have Argosan, that's the native tongue. You would have Nadician, that's your native tongue. I know in Midlands there's a table here about languages and the different way that people greetings and farewells. 12. So some of the language would be Argosan, Karak, Nadician, Varnori. Thule have their own language, which I find really interesting. Scorn have their own language. And then I would think like maybe there could be some ancient cultures that would have a language, because we should kind of talk maybe about how this Nadician gained his magical powers. And Robert, what?
Ratcatcher. Yeah, he stumbled on something old and terrible in a sewer while he was trying to catch rats.
Was that in Nadicia, or was that after he'd already fled Nadicia?
I think it would be in Odyssey, and he was
In
intrigued
Malak?
by it and kind of realized it would be taboo or whatever, so he got out.
Okay. Man, we got a lot of people talking all of a sudden in the YouTubes.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody of quality though. So.
No offense to Mark Grehan.
Oh, I did miss Mark. That definitely wasn't.
You see Swanee showed up?
Yeah, that's what.
I don't even know how that guy has internet right now. Where is he? He's in Florida now, right? Oh, I guess I shouldn't talk about people's real locations. All right. That's what he was talking about. Don't tell me what to do, which is watch Vikings, I guess, is what he was talking about. And I don't think you have to choose all of those at this point. Because your intelligence, what's your intelligence, Robert, for your character?
12, which is, I think, I don't get anything extra, right?
You don't get anything extra, but I still think you would have, you would know Argosan at this point. I'm going to go with that because that's common.
Okay.
Midlander is also what it's known as. And also Karak, you would know.
Karakian?
Yeah, they just call it Karak in here. Oh, the culture is Karak. I guess I don't know what the language is called, but that's what I would call it, Karokian. All right, so so my idea for the start of this game, I waffled around a lot for what biome I wanted it to be in and all that. Let's go back to this thing here. So, as far as your characters go, oh, wrong button. Dol Karak is here. Nadicia and Melek is way down here. So you're about as far away as you can get by the map, cultural locations. But we've already decided that Master Garcillo is your patron, both of yours. So you guys have already been active for some reason doing things. Maybe you, I almost get the feeling somehow that the farther you got away from Nadicia, the better off you would be. Maybe you heard that the Midlanders in Crow's Keep, that the king actually had his own wizard, Nokratha the Stargazer. Stu, did you fall asleep?
Nope, I did not.
You're like this. Nokratha the Stargazer. And so you made your way to Crow's Keep. And perhaps Vicente was doing business for... Oh, and it said that you guys had already maybe went around a little bit on in Master Vicente's business around. So what I think we're going to start the campaign is on a ship that is... where's my pen? Here it is. On a ship that is captained by Captain Aram and his first mate, Mr. Eso.
Are you putting these names someplace?
Yeah, I'm writing them. Oh, do you mean so that you can see them?
Yes.
No.
When you finish writing that down, will you snail mail it to both of us so we can?
Shut your effing lips, Stu. All right. Captain Eram. Mr. Eso.
And it's Master Garcillo. You keep saying Vicente, but that's me. Vicente is me.
Yeah. I know that. I got that. But Master Garcillo isn't with you. he is probably going to be part of one of the 5 houses or one of the near houses that are trying to get into the circle, and that'll give you some ideas. But I haven't named the ship yet, so anybody who wants to help name the ship, what do you think these names are? What cultures do you think these names are from? I just made them up, so they seem kind of Midlandery to me.
The only problem with those names is that they both start with the letter E. We're gonna have a hard time keeping those 2 straight.
All right.
Urim and Iso.
Differentiate based on title.
I guess so. Captain versus the first mate.
Yeah. Don't need to be on a first name basis so soon.
All right, we can change the captain's name to... I almost did the exact same thing. That's funny. I almost did another E name, which is weird. What do I deal with? Captain Farnham. I definitely
Farnham
have
and
to
Iso.
keep Mr. Iso. I don't think it's a large ship, and I think that right now you're headed towards the east coast of the Lake Argos to look in on an iron mine. Sorry, I'm thinking here and I lost one of my books. And you're headed for something very important and specific. There we go, everybody. Another great book. A collection of the adventure frameworks from Pickpocket Press. It is the outpost village / city of Brinderwold. And I think we'll pick up next session, hopefully next week, and go from there. Does that work for everybody?
Yep.
That's good. Give me some more time to like go through some of this too. I had some of the, I had looked at the new early version of the rules prior to this, but clearly even going through it tonight, I was still missing a few things. So.
Yeah, no, but I mean, you don't know what you have to focus on until you know what you have to focus on.
Yep.
So what do you think, Robert?
Yeah, I enjoy figuring all the stuff out. So, and I'm always surprised at how quickly we come to something here at the end that generates, the beginning of what's going to happen in the next session.
Yeah, that is cool. What about you, Stu? You got anything that you want to mention or comment on?
Not really, than just, it might be obvious, but I kind of just liked the summary for character generation in just step by step and randomly generating it. I'm interested to see also some of the other classes over time too, and just how that works. Meaning, like I'm good maybe not having an optimal character. Like that's kind of core to a lot of the games that I play. But it's sort of interesting just to see how that actually manifests itself with certain classes and like what does bad mean, like how bad, or in this case like maybe it is by design that a magic user might not start with spells, and that just is what it is, and just trying to maybe calibrate to that and kind of relate to it over time, I think will be interesting.
Cool. Yeah, and obviously we always just made characters, so we didn't really get into a lot of any of the other rules that maybe have changed or whatever.
Yep.
I do want to, and we'll talk about this on the Discord, and then we'll discuss it a little more, hopefully next week, is I don't mind the characters possibly getting some of their one of the ways that you can gain levels in low fantasy gaming, even in Tales of Argosa, is like slowly getting portions of your class bonuses, and maybe we'll talk about that. So I don't know, maybe check out that section of the book. You can read any part of this. I have nothing to hide in the game, so read any of this, and then we can talk about any of them. And I'm really kind of hoping that this is going to be more, like I say, playtest, discussing the rules, enacting the rules, and then it is like, ooh, a very important actual play, and we're not going to talk about any of that stuff. We are going to look at the book. We're going to try and get it right. We're going to do a lot of those things. So what do you guys think about the change to the silver standard? Any thoughts? Or do you want to talk about that next week?
Maybe we wait. I do have some thoughts. It's
Yeah, encumbrance is different. The silver standard is different. So there's a few different things in and around that. We'll talk about that plus experience. So make sure you kind of know that and how your weapons actually work, and maybe this near far stuff. So we have a lot of cool things to get into, I think. Yeah.
sounds good.
Yeah, so the silver standard stuff, I don't have a whole lot to add to that. I just know that some people really like that.
Because they hate gold pieces being so common.
Probably, it seems like a weird thing in terms of maybe are they more simulationist because they feel like that's kind of weird in terms of the economy, or but
Yeah, I don't know. They have
I don't know.
second rank weapons in here. It's kind of interesting. Special medals. Like I say, everything has a natural 19, and now you have these trauma tables that are involved. So like a blade trauma table, a blunt trauma table, and I think when you do that, you affect that table. Oh, and maybe this die on there earlier, like I think I mentioned, I thought it was damage. It might be the die that you roll on the applicable trauma table.
Oh yeah, I think it is. I think so.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
So here's a question for you, Jason.
Yeah.
So
no,
Artificer.
I didn't back Dolmenwood. Oh, sorry.
No, that's not what I'm asking to ask.
Oh, okay.
Artificer is not something that you have for this. Do you ever allow that class?
Like I said, well, I mean, my earlier campaigns with low fantasy gaming were, it started as Venari, and as you moved out, like the Artificer wasn't a possibility. Like a magic, some of the classes weren't possible because they were associated with other cultures or whatever. But
Sure.
I did have a cool game in which a player played an Artificer, and I actually played an Artificer in a different person's game. And I mean, I think it works okay. It definitely kind of adjusts the technology level to a place that in the past I haven't been totally and completely comfortable with. But in many ways, it probably would have been cool to see how the new Tales of Argosa dealt with this, because I mean, this used to be a heck of a lot more pages than this as far as like the Artificer and what they could do or not do. It's fine.
Right.
It's fine.
Right.
It seems, I guess, in a low magic game like the Midlands is supposed to be, maybe this Artificer is the way to go because technology would be more affected. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, part of me thinks that it doesn't seem to fit with more of a sword and sorcery type of setting. I sort of think that, but then I also like science fantasy as part of sword and sorcery, and I don't know if that an Artificer kind of gets in that direction. But I also know that that sort of class can sometimes feel a little too steampunky to me, which I really don't like at all. So
No, that's exactly like I used to. I mean, Axe as the system had like we're a dwarven class that could make like things or something, and I really disliked that. But I mean, that's only because that's what we're used to, right? I think that's what we're used to from the subject material that these games are often based on, the Appendix N stuff.
Right.
But at the same time, I mean, it isn't a long stretch of like a black powder weapon.
Right.
That isn't a long stretch. But some of these things are like, it's kind of a mad scientist kind of class. I could see it working out depending on how it was done, I guess is what I'm getting at. In the past, I've kind of just poo-pooed it just because not my game. But what is that? What was that book by? And I used to be all about that book 10 years ago, but I don't remember what it was. It's about a town, basically. Oh, geez. Find out.
You gotta give us more than that.
I know. I can't even think about it. I think like one of the later books was called Scarred Lands. China Melville.
Okay.
Oh, the Baslag stuff.
Is that the name of that town? Baslag?
That's not. I don't know. You're talking about like.
What's the name of his most famous book?
Perdido's Street Station.
Yeah, Perdido Street Station. Exactly. Yeah. And there was a lot, I think there was a lot of Artificer type stuff in that book, Perdido Street Station, and that worked pretty well. Man, that was 20 years ago now. Holy shiitake. The Scar, not the Scarred Lands. Crazy. Anyway, yeah, so there's a book. Have you ever read that book, Stu?
I read the first one.
Yeah, and pretty cool, right?
Yep.
And would you agree that it's kind of mad science and still, I don't know if I would call that sword and sorcery though? Would you call it sword and sorcery?
No.
It's definitely more edging towards that Eberron type of feel, which is the steampunky feel.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But
So,
anyway,
so what I'd be curious about is what Steve Grodzicki thinks. Like, what was his thinking about including that in with all the other classes?
because he definitely is talking. I don't know. I think the best thing to do would be ask Steve Grodzicki. So maybe I'll get him on to do basic exhumations or a Hobbs and Friends if I could make that happen schedule wise. It's just kind of weird because he's Australian. Weird to make that happen, not weird to do it at all. But definitely something I'm interested in. So keep that in mind. Or if anybody else has any other questions about this, the setting, or the new system, you can send me an email at hnfhobbs. I'm also OSRN Hobbs on Twitter. I guess I should say hnfhobbs@gmail.com. And I have a Blue Sky account now. After all the jokes on at North Texas, I got TJ to send me an invite, and I'm Hobbs665 over there. Yeah, does anybody have anything to add before we cut this? Nothing to pimp?
Yeah, I'm good.
Thanks.
Robert, do you want to pimp the new Kickstarter on Exalted Funeral?
I wore the shirt. I guess that's good enough, right?
Okay. Well, I mean,
They could put me in for like a freebie, I suppose. I'll just add my name that way. So,
okay.
Exalted Funeral folks who are watching, you can just add me to.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all the Exalted Funeral people are watching this. What's his name? Matt K. Is that right?
Matt sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if the Gary's Appendix number 3 is still on Kickstarter, but if it is, go back that and you can see some of my writing in there. It's a horror coming out in October with some great art by none other than James Richards. So I guess we'll hit the music and we'll GTFO. Let's go, TJ.
It's a beautiful day in the game, oh, a beautiful day for my gamers. Would you be one? Could you be one? Shout about thunder, but don't despair. This colony's breeding great robbers. Would you be one? Could you be one? If the 80% mortality rate works for you, For a few bucks a month you can sign up and have the Hobbs kill you. So let's make the most of another Sunday. Brew up some coffee and play it my way. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my gamers? Won't you be? Won't you please? Please won't you?